full of friends, probably a couple dozen, especially those that are closer to my age, maybe even a little bit older, because I just tell them, you got to check this out. Do not wait any longer. Just go and admit it. Yep, you're at an age where things are slowing down. I promise you, you're not going to regret it, and that's truly what I get. I'll get a phone call after, like, man, I feel like a kid at Chuck E. Cheese right now.
Learn more today at LowTUSA.com.
ESPN's #1 source for green and gold information.
What's the biggest mistake that new quarterbacks make? Turnovers. And he hasn't had it.
And mating rituals.
The Shed Aquarium in Chicago was one of my favorite school field trips here, and I believe there were dolphins there, but they left that out.
Our most musically inclined and bald guest.
Wow, I'm a little, it's only love. It's only love.
It's Rob Domofsky on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Let's get Rob Domofsky's perspective on last night's game and the team going forward. Good morning, Rob. Where are you?
Good morning, Jen. I am at Gate 44 at LaGuardia Airport. I'm waiting to board a flight to O'Hare in about a half hour.
I know it well, my friend. Although you've got the new and improved LaGuardia. I had the old dumpy, crappy LaGuardia.
Yeah, I usually fly in and out of Newark, but it just worked out this way this trip, and I'm impressed with the new and improved LaGuardia.
All right, so give us the Cliff's notes. How should we be interpreting yesterday's game? My thing was, I'm disappointed because the win was there and they let it fall through their fingertips. But now the goal is to avoid the double clunk. That was the clunk of the last 5. You can't afford another clunk in these last 4 games.
Right. Even good teams, lose games in December. It's not the end of the world. The problem is twofold for the Packers, is they put themselves in a little bit of a hole by their early season play. And 2, they're not complete enough to overcome an area where they're deficient. And unfortunately, last night they were deficient in many areas. I think they've got a huge challenge this week, coming off of a short week and having failed in really all 3 phases of the game. It's not like they had a good plan and good execution in 1 or 2 of those phases. They had poor play calling, poor execution, poor planning in all 3 phases, Jen, and that's how you lose to a team that's starting an undrafted free agent rookie quarterback. And a team that was really going nowhere. That's how this happens.
Is this kind of LaFleur's fault, Rob? Because to me it seems, and I had this fear before the game, that this team would not be ready to play, because playing on a Monday night on the East Coast is the worst, and you have to get yourself mentally prepared before the game starts, and they just didn't seem like they were. They felt like they were still in the hotel.
Yeah, I think it's on him for a couple reasons, Chewy. 1, the motivating factor, like you said, but 2, I just think that their play calling, especially on the offensive side, became terribly predictable, and it bit them in the rear on that 2-point conversion play. I mean, how many times can you go to the well with the end around, with the reverse, with the jet sweeps, and then there was the play down in the red zone. I can't remember if it was that same drive or a different drive where they got too cute again. And, sometimes you outthink yourself. Mm-hmm. And, sometimes it's not as complicated as it needs to be sometimes, especially against bad teams. Like when you're rolling and you're playing a good team that you need to use deceptives on, fine, go ahead and do that. But against teams that aren't very good, just do what you do well and simplify it. And I thought they went a little too overboard with the game plan on offense last night.
Is Rashawn Gary still not 100% healthy? Because he's got 9 sacks, and it seems like he's having a really good year, Rob, but 6 of those sacks have come in 2 games. And I don't want to downplay 3-sack games because they're huge, they're great. Yeah. But don't you need him to be more consistent, especially against an offensive line that gave up 69 sacks heading into that game?
Yeah, and it's not just Gary, too, but, like you mentioned, the sacks allowed, Gabe, and they didn't get anywhere near DeVito. But I think the biggest problem with Rashawn Gary, and really a bunch of their guys, is that they're so focused on pass rush that they don't hold the edge on the run. And, this is the 4th game this year that they've allowed 200 yards rushing. Think about that. They've played 13 games. I'm not very good at math, so what is that? Almost 25% of the games that they've played, teams have rushed for 200 yards against them. When they gave up the third 200-yard game, I think that was at Pittsburgh, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it was.
At that point in the league, there were only 13 200-yard rushing games, and the Packers had allowed 3 of them. Now they've allowed a fourth. I have not had a chance to look to see how many total 200-yard games that there are in the league, but, I mean, the Packers are a huge offender in that area. And, I mean, you know, I felt like last year in London, Daniel Jones beat them with his legs a couple of times. And I don't know if it's something that the Jets do, Chewy, and you would probably know this better than me, but I don't know if it's something that they do with trying to get their quarterback out in space. But, I mean, the 2 games against the Giants the last 2 years, quarterback scrambles, quarterback designed runs, quarterback options have really hurt them.
Talking with Rob Domofsky about last night's game and going forward, how concerned should we be about Rich Bisaccia's unit? Gabe reminds us that they're the most penalized unit in all of college football. God bless America. I hate it when I go into autopilot. I was literally watching Get Up and I went into autopilot. My bad. They are the most penalized special teams unit in the NFL. And last night, the mistakes that they made, and I don't know if that's Bisaccia's fault or if it falls into the Chewy category of they just weren't ready to play, but it was glaring last night against the Giants.
Well, you know, even before last night, they were ranked in ESPN's FPI, which I believe stands for Football Power Index,
That's correct.
if I'm not mistaken. They were 32nd in special teams going into the week. I mean, that's... And certainly the special teams hurt them more than helped them. And the obvious one, of course, was the fumble that, you know, a veteran return man like Keyshawn Nixon should know better, because how many times do you see a returner muff a punt, then pick it up, and then fumble again? Like that's where it seems like once you make the first mistake, just cut your losses and fall on it. And it was a surprising and out of character play from a player who, you know, it might be their best special teams guy. Anders Carlson, I mean, how much faith do you have in him when he's lining up to kick, you know, a field goal beyond, say, 45 yards? I mean, that's an issue. And then, of course, the penalties. And, you know, look, it's a young roster, and where does that show up the most? On special teams, right? I mean, you're getting the bottom half of the roster anyway on special teams, and now you're getting it with young players. But, I mean, they're paying Rich Bisaccia $2 million a year. I think he's one of the highest paid, if not the highest paid special teams coordinator in the league. And, you know, you wonder if their success last year really was just a product of Keyshawn Nixon being a really good return man and having some really good returns. I mean, it's like in basketball, 3-point shooting covers up for a lot of mistakes. Well, a return man can cover up for a lot of special teams issues as well. And you know, now we're starting to see those cost them in games more than they probably should.
Is lack of a running game hurting this team from a play action standpoint? I mean, A.J. Dillon, 3.5 for as big as he is, 3.5 yards a carry, and Patrick Taylor to me seemed more explosive than Dillon. Is that?
I don't know if that was just fresh legs with Taylor, but I would agree with that. I did think Dillon did some nice things in the pass game for the second straight week. Look, they were, even without Aaron Jones the previous couple of weeks, the play action was working really, really well. I mean, you know, maybe the Giants didn't respect it. Maybe, to be honest with you, though, to me, from a game plan standpoint, and I would have to go back and watch this, but anecdotally, it seemed like they didn't use the play action anywhere near as much last night as they had in, you know, the previous month when they were rolling. I mean, the play action numbers had been so good for Jordan Love, and you know, they just didn't seem to me to even utilize that very much last night.
How healthy can we expect the receivers to be on Sunday?
Well, it sounds like Wicks has an ankle injury. Reed was being evaluated for a concussion. You can't imagine that Christian Watson will come back, you know, just after missing one game. His 2 previous hamstring injuries each kept him out, I believe, 3 games. Although last year there was one where it was 2 consecutive games, came back, played, and then missed another, or maybe it was the other way around. But I wouldn't expect to have him this week. You know, Romeo Doubs seems to make some really, really good plays, and then seems to just disappear for large chunks of the game. And, you know, if he's supposed to be your go-to guy or your most reliable guy, you need to find a way to get him the ball more often. But I think there's huge concern. On the flip side, I would think they would get Aaron Jones back this week. I mean, it looked like he had a pretty good week of practice last week. And quite honestly, I was a little bit surprised that he wasn't able to go on Monday night.
Rob, we appreciate you hanging out with us. We'll let you go. We got to catch a flight, and we will talk to you again soon.
All right, guys. You have a great week. We'll be seeing you.
Safe travels, sir. He's Rob Domofsky. You can follow him on social media, on Twitter, and all of the things for the latest on the green and gold. Gabe?
Whether it's the football or the holiday season, something that always you want to have in your freezer, you want to have some good frozen pizza. You know, maybe you got the kids home over the holidays, just nice, quick, easy, something that's going to be good. And that's where Palermo's comes in, especially with all the different types of pizza that they have just in their Screamin' Sicilian brand alone. They have the Screamin' Sicilian I'm Stuffed. That's the stuffed crust pizza with the great artisan crust that you're used to when it comes to Screamin' Sicilian, with over 2.5 feet of cheese stuffed in the crust. Maybe you're just looking for that regular Screamin' Sicilian that you've come to know and love. Maybe you're thinking about the thin and crispy. Maybe you want the pub style. So many different kinds of pizza. Just within that, you're going to find a style of pizza that you know your family loves. And because it's made by Palermo's, you know it's going to be good. Palermo's and Screamin' Sicilian. It's Wisconsin's hometown pizza.
Full show podcasts, interviews, and special content is available right now at WisconsinOnDemand.com. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy on 94.5 ESPN.
Q Club of Wisconsin is your hangout spot for watching sports, playing games, and having some drinks. Mike, what do you have going on over there?
Gary, we have so much going on. We're still the place to be on game days to catch the green and gold. Book a holiday party in our VIP room, which includes a private pool table, 2 shuffleboard tables, and 4 dartboards. Plus, we have great live music every Saturday night. And of course, we've got our fish fry on Wednesdays and Fridays, where you know we pile it high.
All happening at the Q Club of Wisconsin, North Grandview Boulevard in Waukesha. Check out QClubofWisconsin.com.
Before the ball drops, we're dropping the prices. Going on now, it's Ewald Automotive's year-end sale. We're blowing out our inventory before year-end with low financing and thousands in discounts. Shop over 1,000 vehicles across 10 brands, all backed by our promise to get you the lowest price, guaranteed. So if you're shopping for a new vehicle, make sure you see Ewald before you make a $2,000 or $3,000 mistake. Go to EwaldAuto.com.
Stay up to date on the green and gold all season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
It's time for the Ortho ASAP Minute from Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
Dr. Daniel Holland from Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin is joining me. Doctor, what makes an OAW surgeon different from most other surgeons?
At Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, we have all fellowship-trained orthopedic specialists. We have all subspecialties of orthopedics covered through our office, so you can see anybody from the tips of your fingers to the tips of your toes and everywhere in between.
So let's say someone is feeling pain and they finally walk into OAW for that first time. Can you take me through that process of what's going to happen next?
We always start with an office appointment, which will involve me conversing with the patient, trying to figure out what's happening, and then a physical exam. And we have on-site x-ray and on-site MRI if we should need to move into diagnostic tests of that sort.
The Ortho ASAP Minute is sponsored by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Alex Strofe.
This Badger Minute brought to you by UW Credit Union. For every stage of life, UW Credit Union is here for every you. Proudly serving Wisconsin for over 90 years. Hop in or hop online at uwcu.org to join. Despite a big loss at number 1 Arizona this past Saturday, the Wisconsin men's basketball team holds steady in this week's AP poll. The Badgers reappear for the second week in a row at number 23 in the country, following a week where the Badgers went 1-1 with a win at Michigan State last Tuesday and the aforementioned loss at Arizona on Saturday. The Badgers, who are now 7-3 on the season, only have one game on the calendar this week. That's Thursday at the Kohl Center as they host Jacksonville State. Tip-off is slated for 7 p.m. on Big Ten Network.
Unwrap your gift now, but pay later. Right now at Pella, put no money down, no payment, and no interest for up to 18 months. Visit PellaWI.com.
Every child deserves a safe, loving, and permanent home. Help the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption find families for children who've lingered in foster care the longest. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
Come to Fiserv Forum to see the resurgent Wisconsin Badgers on December 28th and 29th in the Quick Trip Holiday Face-Off. See how Coach Hastings has rebuilt the Badgers into a national power. Get your tickets now to see the Badgers battle the Air Force Falcons in primetime on day one. The excitement continues with perennial power and three-time national champion Minnesota Duluth playing the Northeastern Huskies in the other semifinal. Don't miss the college hockey action coming to Milwaukee and see who wins the championship on day two. Get your seats today at Ticketmaster.com.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Excuse me. Hold on. Getting choked up over it. So, hold on. Give me a moment.
On 94.5 ESPN.
So the Packers couldn't get a win last night, but maybe one of our loyal listeners got a win last night, Gabe, playing the old GBNGO.
BINGO.
There it is. Yes.
What do you got?
GBNGO. So let's go through it. Christian Watson's dad tweets about the Packers.
Nope, because Christian Watson wasn't active.
Brett Favre 2007 NFC title game highlight. I don't think I saw that.
Nope.
That would have been Rosy Cheeks, right? Rosy Cheeks Coughlin.
Mm-hmm.
Packers line up with 2 down linemen.
Yep.
Okay, that happened. Go ahead and mark it off. Jaden Reed touchdown. Yes. Yep. Packers first half touchdown. Yep. Yes. Packers listed as part of in the Hunt graphic. Yep. Yes. Several times, actually. I saw that one. Anders Carlson makes a field goal.
He did.
Jordan Love designed run.
Unfortunately, yes.
Jair Alexander prophet quote. I did not hear them say that, so that we were doing so well on that line, by the way.
Yeah.
A.J. Dillon and Saquon Barkley quads comparison. I don't think we saw that either.
I don't think they did
so
that.
That was a bust. Jaden Reed rushing attempt. Yes.
I mean, just a couple.
Yeah.
He's not playing this. He's not playing this week because he just doesn't want to run the jet sweep.
He had 8 catches for 27 yards. It's rough.
He did, catch the sideline a couple of times. Packers defense creates a turnover. Yes, Saquon Barkley had the fumble.
Well, I mean, I don't know if they really created it as much as, Saquon decided to give it to them, but technically, yes, they created it.
DeVito. Sean Clifford first to high-five a teammate. No way of knowing whether or not that happened.
I didn't see it. I think it's safe to assume.
Jordan Love's sidearm completion.
I don't recall one.
Dang it, but you're saying again.
Safe to assume.
Okay, well, then that would be a GBNGO. Why can't I do the thing? GBNGO across the middle. Let's just run through the last ones. Kadarius Toney Giants connection shown. MetLife Turf Monster strikes again. New York versus Green Bay market comparison.
I don't think that I didn't see.
I didn't see that either, but I did see this. A lot of this.
Unfortunately,
a lot of capiching out there.
Because unfortunately, Tommy had a good game.
How many times they show the DeVitos?
More than they showed Taylor Swift the week before.
Really?
Wait, so you're going to tell me, you're going to sit here and try to tell me that Taylor Swift is a distraction, and yet whatever his agent is doing is not?
I love the agent. You know how much business the agent got last night?
Probably not a lot, because he looked like a fool.
I thought he looked great.
Yeah, that's the guy that you're going to go...
There's a whole bunch of people out there going, wait, that guy's available?
No, they go, that guy.
You know who I want to negotiate my money deal?
Rocco.
That guy?
He's going to the Bada Bing.
Gabagool.
That was from Sopranos that I've never seen. But I knew where the Bada Bing was.
I just don't think there's a lot of football players out there going, sorry, Jimmy Sexton. I'm going to go with that guy.
Next question.
Drew Rosenhaus.
Yeah.
Let's see. Matt LaFleur proud of our guys post-game moment? Nope. Did not happen.
Right.
Jordan Love throws for 300 yards? Nope. Matt LaFleur December record mention? Yes. Packers execute the Love shove? No, I didn't see the Love shove. They talked about the Love shove. Somebody talks about it. Maybe not.
That's what it's called now?
Well, if the Packers do it, it's the Love shove.
No, it's the cheesy squeezy.
I like that better.
No.
Nope.
Go home.
You like the cheesy squeezy?
No, what's yours?
Cheesy squeezy.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
No, Love shove.
That's terrible.
You're terrible.
A Schwaba nudge. Why doesn't anyone like a Schwaba nudge?
Schwaba nudge.
Aaron Rodgers shows up to MetLife Stadium. No. Rashawn Gary sack. Famously, no.
That was so bad last night.
How many times they mentioned Rodgers?
I don't even think they did.
Yeah, they did. Yes, they did. They did a comparison. They put
Oh, they did.
The
They
screen
put up
up.
the graphic
Yes.
because their numbers are so
Oh,
similar.
okay.
Yeah.
Through
Did you guys
how
watch
many
the
ever
game
games?
last night, or what the hell's going on here?
It's a great
I'm
question.
the only one
Chew.
that saw this?
Yeah, it's a
Sorry,
great question.
I missed a graphic. Maybe it's my brain actually is protecting me against it. Now it's a defense mechanism. The minute somebody mentions Aaron Rodgers' name, my brain's like, la, 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 la. Make sure I don't have to listen to it. So the goal is, of course, to avoid the double, I almost said clunker. I don't know. Could happen. If it happens, it's this weekend, right? It's this weekend against the Buccaneers?
If they lose again to the Buccaneers, they could very easily lose one of their last 2 games as well. And then now you're avoiding the triple.
How much better a team is Tampa Bay than New York?
2 clicks.
Okay, short week. A lot of guys hurt. I bet the line is 2.
I can tell you what the line is right now.
Feel like a 2? Green Bay by 2?
I believe it opened at 3.5. It is currently 3.5.
Okay.
Paul from Racine weighing in saying disappointing loss for sure. It was apparent from the opening drive. The scheme was not up to par in all 3 phases. Love was not given a good enough plan to win the game. The defense played poorly. So did special teams with the muffed punt and missed field goal. Sad outing on a national stage. Yeah, I agree with that. All around. Sad outing. It's fine,
It's
yes,
fine.
but don't let it happen again.
Yeah, I agree. But it's not fine because you with that win last week.
What do you want?
in order
What are you
to
looking
stack,
for? What do you want? What are you looking for?
You don't have much of a wiggle room anymore.
Are you talking
You don't
make
have
the
a cushion.
playoffs?
Yes.
Okay, playoffs would be nice, but it's not. It's not the end all be all for me. 2 years from now is the
Because
end all be all.
here's the problem though. Because you're going to have a lot more questions about this team if they miss the playoffs. Because if they miss the playoffs, chances are they went 2-3 down the stretch. When Jen was talking about them winning all 5 games, like they're going to be favored in the majority of these games.
And you can't have watched last night's game and not thought they could have won that game because they were winning with 1:33 left.
They're not going to be as favored as much as you thought they would be favored.
No, but they're obviously favored right now against Tampa. They're going to be favored against the Panthers. Depending upon what happens with Justin Jefferson, I don't know if they're going to be favored or not again in Minnesota, and they'll be favored against Chicago at home.
Yes, I agree with all
I
that.
do like this question from Brian in the Shaw. Which is worse by Joe Barry? 0 sacks or letting the Giants walk down the field for the game-winning field goal?
0. The sacks I put more on the players, so the defense on the last drive. Sacks is on the players.
If he was in cover 2 the whole way, just playing, then he's an idiot.
I don't think he
You
was
can't have
on the big play.
You can't have a coordinator.
I think he
like
brought
that.
pressure on the big play, and they were in man.
All right. They're not firing him.
Well, I mean, not right now.
No, they're not firing him at the end of the year. It's not going to happen.
Still possible.
Get in that mindset.
Still possible.
Yeah, he's got a good point. Get in the mindset that they're not going to, and then if they do, pleasant surprise. Cherry on the Sunday type of thing.
I think losing DeVito put a little hope back in that. The little more wind in our sails.
I feel that way as well.
200 yards rushing 4 times. If they lose again, it's going to be probably 200 yards rushing.
Not to Tampa Bay.
I mean, you could be.
No.
Why not?
Well, then you fire him.
I mean, anything's possible with the Packer run defense.
Good point. And Baker's not going to play as bad as he did the last time he was here. Remember that?
Last year.
That wasn't last year.
Like when he played for the Rams?
No, when he played for Cleveland. Remember the 4 picks?
Yeah, but the last time he played against the Packers last year.
I will be making my prediction on Friday.
Sounds like you want to make it now.
I kind of do.
Okay.
For more of this.
Why are we announcing this on a Tuesday?
Will D'Antouche is next on ESPN Milwaukee.
Wrapping things up with a couple of accidents. One, northbound 43 at Mequon Road with the right lane blocked. So it's going to be tying things up. We're seeing delays basically past Donges Bay, almost to the county line. So be careful with that. South